The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network.
Good morning, you guys. Welcome to another lovely Wednesday here on Get It, Got It Good. I'm your host, Naja Wilhite. We are live on WBGR Health and Wellness Channel. We're also live at Naja Carter on Facebook. And of course, we'll replay everything on YouTube. Get It, Got It Good G3. So definitely you can find us. You can also find us on Facebook and on IG under Get It, Got It Good G3. And hope to see you there. Today is going to be interactive because you have just me. So today we're going to go over a few things. I'm all about education, right? I'm all about the artists, hence the reason we do the artist spotlights. And there are certain things that artists should be aware of when they're trying to increase their brand, when they're trying to increase their income, when they're trying to get that notoriety, that following. So we're going to go through some of these things today, and we're going to title it Professionalism. There's a whole bunch of things that go under that category that you may not be aware of, or you may be aware of, but definitely I want to hear from you, want to hear your opinions, your judgments. Yours are yours, mine are mine. Don't hate, let's just communicate, okay? So before we delve into today's topic, we will shout out some of our artists. So you guys know every week, all through the week, I just throw out artists, whether they're painters, dancers, singers, rappers, whatever the case may be, spoken word. I got a few monologues this week that, I'm going through and want to post those as well. So actresses, actors, love the fellas too. So definitely keep sending those in to me. You can send them in as far as at Get It Got It Good G3 on IG. You can message me. You can email, same email at gmail.com. And definitely, we want to get them out there, and we'll definitely tag you. So send us your tags. We'll tag you across the platforms as well. But before we go any further, check out this week's Artist Spotlights. We'll be right back.
Yeah, hit me when I'm out. Now they catch back my axe. I was trying to help from that mess. So on God is where you got left. Yeah, I left her. She's screaming that she need me when she see me cause I'm better. Don't ask her about my new girl cause I left her to break my heart.
Haters, y'all, they listen to this. This a one-night ticket, so the passion exists. The process, cause I'm blessed with you moving your hips. Got me losing my shit, might get gritty and grip. I ain't in it for the rice and the doves, just the hype and the buzz. Let me pipe so snug, little bite, let me grab a height. Then we on it, I'm zoned out.
You had to go and get some feelings. You had to go and get some feelings. You had to go and get some feelings. You had to go and get some feelings, feelings, feelings. Get some feelings. Get some feelings. You had to go and get some feelings. Get some feelings.
focused on bitches, I'm focused on guap. I'm making it hard to stand out like this. Stood in them trenches, all 10,000 shit. Run up them bitches until I get rich. These bitches be faking, I can't take that shit. They told me to stop, and now I can't listen. I'm guessing he's scared of the competition. I put a little bridge, I can't take no stop. They focus on bitches, I'm focused on guap. I'm making it hard to stand out like this. Stood in them trenches, all 10,000 shit. Run up them bitches until I get rich. These bitches be faking, I can't take that shit.
Welcome back, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's Spotlighted Artists. So we had painters in there, or digital artists, I should say, hip-hop artists, emo music artists, dancers. Gotta shout out my dancers who did this dance routine in DC, as you saw. So shout out DMV. So as always, like I said, keep sending them in. I love spotlighting my DMV artists, but regardless of where you are, if you are as far as Africa, because I know I have a few Africans watching as well right now, love you guys. Definitely send it in. Shout out. So let's get busy with today's topic. I wanted to talk about professionalism. You know, I've been in business for a while now, you guys, and you come across all types of people. So when you're in business, you have to be able to deal with the different personalities. That is a given. Now, I know everybody is not as, outgoing, and some are more introverted. That's all fine and dandy, but you still have to know and respect and learn to deal with the different personalities. And a lot of times to do that, you have to match. But what I mean by matching is, matching energy, matching body language, matching tonalities, matching hand gestures, matching just matching. And a lot of times I do it without even realizing it, but that's only because I have studied it, right? So anything that you want to get good at, you have to look deeper into. You have to continually educate yourself. You have to study it. There's no difference in that, in the entertainment industry, in the cyber security industry, or in the tech industry. It doesn't even matter. It is about people. If you cannot get along with people, then you won't be able to go further. The other thing that you definitely have to think about is professionalism. Now, professionalism is a broad topic. We've all came across people that we were like, wow, that was unprofessional, or they should have been more of this or more of that. Or you even come across people that you've said, wow, that was great. That was a great experience walking into a retail shop. That was a great experience dealing with that host or hostess. That was a great experience dealing with that waiter or waitress, So those are things that we want to look for in moving forward. So before we go on, what is professionalism exactly? Well, professionalism is competence and skill expected of a professional. Okay. Well, first of all, they're using the word in the definition, which I was told it's not always a great idea. But let's break that down a little bit more, okay? Skill is easy to break down. Skill is the ability to do something. So if I'm a basketball player, then I have the skill to dribble the ball, to block, to make a layup, to make a three-point shot, whatever the case may be, right? So that's skill. If I am a singer, then I have a vocal range. I can carry a tune. I can, keep a beat, hopefully, if you're a singer. If you are a business person, then that could get a little bit more complicated depending on what business you're in. But all business people should, first of all, know their income. So if anybody ever watched Shark Tank, the first thing you want to know is, what is your numbers? What are you bringing in? What's going out? What is your profit margin? What are things like that? Pros know these things. They know their ratios. They know everything, right? When it comes to their type of business. So, okay, so that's skill. That's easy. You can always get better at skill. If you want to get better at dribbling, you do dribbles. If you want to get better at layups, you do layup drills, right? Now, the second part of that definition is competence, which is the ability to do something successfully and efficiently. So just because I can dribble the ball and lay it up don't mean my averages are good. Doesn't mean my three-pointers always go in. We have some NBA players who don't always make the shot. But, that's just the way it goes. It's a law of averages, right? But let's break down competence even more. So competence, root word, it comes from the word compete. Now, if you're competing, what are you trying to do? You're not competing to try to come in last place. At least I know I'm not. I'm too competitive for that. So if I'm going to compete, I want to be number one. Sorry, what's wrong with that? That is the point. Now, I know the people who usually wind up on top of the podium, they have that mentality. That's the only way you can get there, right? So if I'm competing to be number one, what are some of the things that I got to do in order to be competitive? Well, first, you got to work on them skills, right? And then you are outdoing the other candidates and everything. So you are doing your trainings longer. You're hitting the books longer if you're a student or if you're studying your business. You're on more appointments if you're a sales rep. You're doing the things that's going to make you better, that's going to improve your skills, that's going to give you a higher probability of being successful and being number one. In the sales industry, it's easy to measure. You make the most sales, right? You make the most money. And entertainment industry, you become an A-list celebrity. You become an award winner. You get the most streams on YouTube, Spotify, whatever the platform is, Apple Music, right? So that's how you know those are measurable results. So part of competing is having a way to measure the results, right? So how do you know if you're winning or losing? Look at the results. Where did you end up? How many people know you exist? So I know a lot of influencers on like IG or someplace else. They measure their results by how many followers they got. There are very successful small communities that have a lot of interaction. How much interaction do I got? So those are all some ways to compete. As a professional in the entertainment industry, it is very important to be professional. So your skills must be par. You must sound good if you're in the music industry. You must be able to act good if you're in the acting industry. And be able to compete. So you have to do those well enough where you outshine the competition. And there's a lot of competition. If you are in a tech industry, same thing. You have to be able to get the latest gizmo gadget or whatever to market the fastest and market it to the most people the fastest, right? So other things that professionals do. So here's the question. What do you think of when you think of a professional? Do you think of someone who's always late? Someone who is sloppy, unprepared, non-communicative, meaning they don't communicate well, they take forever to get back to you, things like that? Or just the opposite, right? I'm hoping you say just the opposite. So in order to be competitive, you have to go above and beyond some of the things that your neighbor, your other competitors would do. So in the business world, this means you have to make that first phone call. All business is sales. I don't care what business you're in. If you're in the dance business, if you're in the engineering business, if you're in the fast food industry, all business is sales. So everybody's always looking for that next partnership, that next compatible product or something for their industry, right? So you got to make those first phone calls. After you make the first phone calls, one of the things that will stand you apart will be the follow-up. Fortune is in the follow-up. A lot of people do not follow through or follow up with people who they've spoken to, or they don't go back and follow up, because a lot of the times it's about timing. So you definitely got to go and follow up with them people who you've already opened the door with. Okay, so after you do the follow-up, then you have to see what's next. What's next for that particular individual? Will it be a face-to-face meeting? Will it be sending them over the sponsorship package? Will it be sending them over a commitment letter, or a non-disclosure agreement? Whatever the case it may be, depending on your industry, that's what you have to do. Now, say you guys decide to partner up and work together in some form of fashion, whether it be for an event, whether it be for a season, whether it be for permanently, right? However, it doesn't even matter. The purpose is, if you decide to work with a person or entity, then each person comes to the table with a standard, a professionalism standard. Some of those standards may include being able to reach you in a timely manner, being able to receive correspondence or feedback in a timely manner, just having those doors of communication open, number one. The other thing they will be expecting is, if you are going to sit down for any type of meeting, boardroom, or whatever else, they don't want to wait 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Time is precious. It's non-refundable, right? So people want you there on time. Now, for my folks who love to be late, trust me, I am one of the people who struggle with that, and I've gotten a lot better. So here's the deal. If you're going to be somewhere by 11 a.m., right? Being on time means showing up at least by 10:50. That's on time. Early is on time, okay? You don't want people to sit there. Most of the world are punctuality people, and just soon you are late to an engagement, that's your first impression. That is hard to override in some people's head, and that could lose you the deal. The other thing that's a professional thing to do is, if you're going to be late, say you get a flat tire, if you're not going to be able to attend an engagement for whatever reason, the professional thing to do would be to send that information to whoever you're going to meet, right? So you either call them in advance to give them a heads up so they don't have to attend, because you don't want to leave them hanging. No calls, no shows are the worst thing ever that you could do. A lot of times you don't get another chance after that. Another thing you could do is, reschedule, send a thank you card, send something to show that, okay, yes, I'm not able to attend because of unforeseen circumstances. And this is what I can do for you, or this is how I can make this better, at least try. So as far as that, a commitment, so let me define it for you. A commitment is being dedicated to a cause, activity, either or, and that includes engagements, parties, fundraisers, political events, whatever the case may be, or obligations. So obviously, if you obligate yourself to something, that means you are giving yourself that time not to be available for anything else, right? If you break those obligations and you cannot help but to break those obligations, then you want to give the person as much notice as possible. That will be professional. Ideally, the best thing that you could do is not break the obligations that you made. So let's go back and see, how do you commit to an obligation and then give yourself the best chance not to renege on that obligation? Well, it goes back to skills, and part of skills is learning how to manage a schedule, right? A lot of this may seem elementary to you guys, but this is why so many people are not making it in business and life and relationships and the industry that they want to get in, because they're leaving this trail of unprofessionalism. And let me tell you, word of mouth is the best and the worst for some of you guys form of advertisement, right? So if you're a positive, professional, people love you, yes, they will tell other people, oh yeah, work with this person. But usually they will have to be approached first and say, hey, do you know anybody who can fill this blank? And they'll think of, oh yeah, this person was great. But they have to be asked first. However, when it's a negative, you don't have to be asked. Most people spread negative news easier and faster than positive news. It is the way it is. So if you leave in this trail of unprofessionalism around, then people will talk about you, and that will block your blessings for future endeavors. No, I can't. You sound good, you look good, but I can't trust you to show. You sound good, you look good, but I have a deadline and I need to stay sharp on the schedule, and you're always late. You sound good, you look good, everything's perfect about you, but when I go through your stuff, there's inconsistencies in your paperwork, in your filing, in your social media accounts, where I can't find a good link for you, right? So you have to keep all of this stuff in order. So one way to do that is to keep the schedule. So back to the schedule. As you grow, you're not going to have the income to hire the team that you need in order to keep you moving forward easily. There's a lot of stuff to manage. To be an entrepreneur, you're juggling multiple balls, right? And it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is difficult, and it takes a lot. It's long hours. A lot of people say, okay, I'm going to work a 9 to 5. because it's easier. You go, you mindlessly do what you got to do in some jobs, right? And once you leave that job, you leave it behind. You can go about your day, your business. When you decide to go into the realm of self-employment, business ownership, entrepreneurship, then you have to take on all of that responsibility yourself, because initially you're not going to have the money to pay an assistant, to pay somebody to keep your paperwork straight. So that means managing your schedule. That means calling and setting up appointments. That means managing your time. That means following up your correspondence via email, via messenger, via whatever way you correspond. That means you have to do all of these things yourself until you left that positive trail of professionalism enough where people start to call you, and then you'll have more income. So professionalism leads to income, right? So if you're thinking about a professional in any industry, let's do the financial industry, right? Because I like the financial industry. So if I'm thinking about the financial industry, I am thinking about somebody who is well-dressed, not necessarily suit and tie, because I'm not that type of girl, so I'm not looking forward to somebody else. So well-dressed, well-spoken, knowledgeable. Well-spoken doesn't mean you have to have a college degree or a master's degree or be doctorate or anything else. I say things wrong or incorrectly all of the time. My husband loves to correct me. But even still, you have to be able to look somebody in the eye and tell them exactly what it is, right? Be direct. Talk to them. Communicate. You also have to be a good listener. You have to be able to listen to what the person, the client, the prospective client, the business partner, the artist label, the sponsor, the brand, whatever's hiring you or spending money on you. You have to understand exactly what they want from you. And then you have to be able to deliver. Part of delivering is competence, right? Competence means competing. Competing means keeping that contract from the next person, so that way you can get the money, right? So it all ties back together in a line that allows you to be able to be better, to continually get better day by day. It also allows you to expand your brand. It allows you to expand your bank account. It allows you to expand your influence. So all of these good things come from professionalism. So well-dressed, prepared, stuff is in order. You communicated properly with any challenges that you may have, even if you cannot do something, as long as you communicate it and let the other half know, then a lot of the times they're okay with that. It's just about communicating in a timely manner. You know, the worst thing you could do as a kid working for McDonald's, or as an adult trying to start your own business, your own brand, or as anybody else in the workforce, is no call, no show. So as a business owner, that's the irkiest thing that happens to me. So if someone says they're going to be somewhere at a certain time, then you expect it from an adult. First of all, they're an adult. You expect them to be there at a certain place at a certain time. And from a professional, you expect them to be there from a certain place in a certain time. And as somebody who's growing and expanding, you expect them to be there. So no call, no show is one of the most unacceptable forms that you could do. But I'm going to give you a break, you guys, from professionalism for just 60 seconds or so, as we tune in to this next commercial, because there are a lot of things coming up this weekend. So this weekend, which is Saturday 19th and 20th on Sunday, there is the Powder Puff game, which is in Anne Arundel County. You guys look on my IG page for that information. It is to raise awareness for breast cancer as well as domestic violence. So two very serious things that is affecting our communities. The other thing that's happening this weekend is a show that's in Virginia, right? And so that is the commercial you're about to watch. And then the third thing that's happening this weekend that you guys have heard me talk about is the show in Philly by Too Stylish Entertainment, which has a variety of artists, performers, comedians that you may want to check out if you're in the Philly area. So we'll be right back after this commercial, and then we'll just wrap it up, you guys. So see you in a second.
been too long since you've been gone. Feels good when I'm with you. I miss you. Come back home. I need your smile. Ain't seen you in a while. I'm so alone. I miss you. Come back home. It's been 2 sleepless nights, 3 lonely days since I last saw you. Nothing going wrong. Ooh. Do you really? Yeah. Call my name. Slow love just feels so good to me. Just move it on up, 'cause I'm in ecstasy, and I will give it to you all night.
All right, welcome back, you guys. So in the last few minutes, let's just recap a little bit. Professionalism is all about putting your best foot forward so that way you beat out any competition. Competition in the forms of competitive businesses, competitive artists, competitive whatever you're competing against in order to get to the next level. And getting to the next level, that means the next level of influence, the next level of financial gain, the next level of circle of influence, and so much more. So at the end, you guys, it's all about awareness of your actions and how they affect potential partners, clients, customers, potential sponsors, potential whoever, right? And how that leads and transforms your potential blessings and what you can do or become. So, of course, you're going to stumble. Nobody's perfect. I have issues. Yes, I do. But just if you cannot get it right, which none of us can, the best thing you could do is communicate. So you cannot get the skill set right, communicate, reach out for help. You cannot get your scheduling right, communicate, reach out for help. You cannot get your books right, communicate, reach out for help. A lot of the times, the people you're partnering with, they've been there, they understand, they've done the struggle, they've faltered in the same steps that you have. And so this is what mentorship is for, and this is what building strong relationships and acquaintances and circle of influences is for. So you have people to reach out to and ask, look, how did you overcome this objective? How did you get through this scheduling? What are some tips? What are some programs? What are some apps that I can use, right? Because there are a lot of apps for scheduling, reminders and TaskRabbit, and your calendar even has a bling. Set up your reminders to go off a day early, a week early, to remind you whatever you need to do an hour early. So all in all, you guys, communicate, put your best foot forward, try your best, and just continue to get better. That's all you can do. Continue to get better. When you're wrong, apologize. Point blank, period. When you're right, don't gloat. There's poor winners as well, which is even worse. And do your best, because I look forward to working with you all. Send in your stuff, and we will see you next week here on Get It Got It Good. I love you guys.